everybody. Welcome to Reality Shifting Podcast, episode 5. We have another guest, our fifth guest, and I'm very excited to introduce her. Why don't you introduce yourself, my friend?
Hello, my name's Hassan.
Uh, All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Shifters Cove. I want to thank you for tuning in and happy 2023. I hope everything is going well for you, and I hope you enjoy this new episode that we have for you, first episode of 2023. So today our guest is one of my IRL friends, Moses. He doesn't know too much about shifting, but I know we had a conversation about this sort of stuff previously, so I figured I bring him on the show. It's good to have different perspectives of people who might not be fully aware of the type of stuff that y'all are interested in, and to get just different opinions or different sides of it. So I'm going to introduce my friend Moses. Moses, welcome to Shifters Cove. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for having me. And yes, like you stated, I'm not too into the culture, so I don't want to step on anybody's toes. If I misjudge or if I misexplain something, don't hold it against me.
Yeah, so um, no worries, because everybody listening, he doesn't know too much about it, and obviously he's welcome to have his own opinion on different things. So don't go out there when he says something that you don't like. All right, Moses, to kind of introduce you to the whole type of reality shifting thing that came up that I've been focusing on interviewing people about a couple years ago, or I think 2023. 2020 was 3 years ago. That's freaking crazy. Um, summer of 2020, there was a whole phenomenon about people saying how they can visit different worlds apparently through a lot of focused meditation or through their dreams maybe, and they called it reality shifting. And reality shifting is pretty much those choosing to simply, I know this sounds wild, it really does, but pretty much they choose to shift their consciousness into a different type of world and live in it. For example, some people want to, at the time it was popular to let's say they want to go to the Harry Potter world or many fictional worlds, etc. But yeah, pretty much that's kind of how reality shifting started, and ever since then it's been about people trying to get to their so-called designated or desired realities that they want to visit. And a lot of people tend to connect it to spiritual things like astral projection. I'm not sure if you heard about astral projection, but pretty much where people tend to spiritually, people believe, or as far as I'm concerned, I never astral projected before, people would leave their bodies and visit the spiritual realm. So people kind of tie reality shifting to that in a way, or lucid dreaming really, where people also control their dreams. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever thought, have you ever heard of astral projection, or just people controlling their dreams at all, or have you had that experience yourself at all?
Well, not personally, but I have heard of astral projection. It's actually a funny thing. The first time I ever heard about it is from this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's either early 2000s or 90s show called Charmed, which is about three witch sisters, and one of the sisters could astral project. And what she would do is her body would stay wherever she is, and her spirit, if that's the right term,
Yeah,
would,
her
yeah,
spiritual body.
her presence would just leave her body and go where she needs to go. So that's the first time I ever heard of astral projection, but I never really thought of it as something major, like how you said back in 2020 when it really was popping off. People, you could see all over social media, people were awakening their eyes, and all the gems came into effect, and people were just starting to be spiritually aware and going to spiritual warfare and cleansing themselves in a way. That's what I heard from it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people say that 2020 is it was a really big spiritual year. It got worse for some people, it got better for some people, but it's when a lot of people had a lot of free time to discover more about themselves spiritually. And it's funny, I'll share this story with you because when I first heard about reality shifting, I was like, bro, that's some bullshit. Y'all are crazy and you're deluding yourselves. But I remember years ago, even before shifting was really popular or even was really spiritual at all, my grandfather, he had a whole 200-page drawing book where he described how he would visit different worlds within his dreams. It was so I too bad I don't have the photos with me because there's it's back in El Paso, Texas, but the pictures he drew were so detailed and so vivid. It was so interesting because he made it sound like when he visited these worlds within his mind or when he's dreaming, like they were real, like there were real experiences, and they kind of like felt like life how we are now, like you sitting where you are, the listener, like how you are right now. The way he described it, it's been a few years, but when he described it, I kind of like when reality shifting came up, I was like, oh shit, that kind of sounds like what my grandfather was talking about, because a lot of the photos he did, like he drew, like it was fucking crazy, like it looked really like cool, like a whole lot of like colorful worlds and shit. So it was really interesting to hear about that. But yeah,
Of
so
course. Like what I think, the first time I heard about lucid dreaming is from this movie Tom Cruise did, Vanilla Sky.
mhm,
And I don't know if you've watched it yet, or if anybody has watched it yet. But basically, what happens is it's more of like a mind fuck like movie. Like you gotta actually think about it. But what
yeah,
happens basically, to give a gist of it, he gets into an accident, messes up his face really bad. It lowers his self esteem because he's used to being like the playboy, all happy, go lucky person. Like think Tony Stark, like that type of person. But then after the accident, he gets like what's it called? He gets anxiety and nerves of his face being bad, that he's never gonna get a girl, all that. So he goes to this company, and this is back in like the 90s, early 80s, I think.
uh-huh,
So what they produce is like lucid dreaming. Basically, they give you the dream world that you want.
yeah,
So the movie, it doesn't, but the company doesn't tell you that he's in a lucid dreaming state. But so
mhm,
throughout the movie, until like near the end, you just think it's a normal life, but it's an actual lucid dream. And
yeah,
it was so vivid that I thought like it was still going, but he was under state for like a while. He's been dead like in his real body for a
mhm,
while, but in his lucid dreaming state, it was still going on, which was amazing to me because I didn't know it was that powerful that it could go past like your physical form.
yeah, man, yeah, and you introduced me to the Matrix a few weeks ago, and like the Matrix kind of sounds like how people describe reality shifting too, like you're put into a world, even though it's not with fucking robots and shit, like with humans, like you're in your dream world. A lot of people in this reality shifting community tend to like want to go to a specific world, like, oh, I want to go to the Marvel movies, or I want to go to like an anime or something. So it's kind of like that for some people, and you know, people say, yeah, it's fake. People are just deluding themselves, but just humoring these people, if that's true, they get to visit anything at all, and it's really interesting because, for example, let me think. You remember how like Doctor Strange 2, like Wanda, like she technically like astral
Yeah,
projected into a whole another
of
universe?
course, of course.
That shit was really vivid,
And
and it was like just like the reality shit thing. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say, I don't think any of this is fake because, well, I'm African, so in our culture, like way back centuries ago, we used to like have spirits. Like we've talked to spirits, our ancestors, through
Mm-hmm.
either medical herbs or other things that we use to contact them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
if it's possible for us to contact spirits, then there's nothing out of the blue that we can't do. And
Yeah,
it's like
and yeah,
our brain isn't, we don't have full control of our brain as humans,
exactly.
so we don't even know how much we can handle or do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I personally believe like there's a time where I didn't know about the law of attraction and manifesting, and I was completely oblivious to it. It wasn't even like known to me, but like it was always there. It was real. It is real, and I'm aware of it. That's how I think reality shifting is for some people. Until they achieve it, it might be less inclined to believe it because it just sounds crazy. I mean, if you think about it, if you manifesting something, if you just think about the whole definition of it, think about something so hard or enough, or repeat saying that you have it or act like you have it, and it comes up into your life. That sounds fucking crazy. But as a person who manifested plenty of stuff in my life, it's fucking real. So that's how I kind of view this kind of like things. Like it might sound nuts, but like you said, we don't know a lot about life, and shit. We don't know how our brains work fully. We don't know like how it was, or how it is fully to like achieve human like peak level. Really, I mean, we have so much potential. We just haven't really like, or at least we haven't really been able to achieve any of it really. So I guess what I'll ask next is, do you believe like do you like to believe like in the actual multiverse, like even like let's kind of ground it down to like our like how our life is, like do you believe there are different universes or different yous that kind of experience maybe similar things, but also go down a different path, pretty much.
Like, do I believe in there's different versions of me out there in the
Yeah.
different multi galaxies?
Yeah, like for example, there could have been a you where me and you didn't do this podcast today. We ended up doing it tomorrow or something. Or maybe I got into a car crash driving the way home. Do you believe like there are many realities that are just like ours that might have minor differences but are valid and actually exist in and of themselves, really?
Of course, I believe that. There's many different versions out there because we haven't even, man, we haven't even explored space as much as we want to. And just to know
Exactly.
all those little light bulbs that we see in the sky, it could be galaxies and everything. There has to be other life forms out there, man.
Exactly. They say that there are more planets in space than there are grains of sand on every single beach on the earth, and that's fucking crazy. Like that's so much space and so much potential for there to be life, and it's just like I believe that everybody has choices that they make in life, and it brings an alternate paths, and the choice that you make is just a choice that you make specifically within this version of yourself. So, I think a lot of the media that we consume, like Marvel, like or etc., or just anything scientific, really, like a lot of it has some truth within it. Like there are multiple universes that can be just like how we see our lives or very different. Maybe it's like fictional realities that we're aware of, like a Marvel or a DC or a fucking Sonic or something. I think everything. I mean, who wants? I don't know.
Nah,
yeah,
Sonic he
yeah,
goes through time sometimes. But
yeah,
speaking of
yeah,
speedsters, let's touch down on Flash. Okay, so you know all about the what's it called, Flashpoint, when he goes through
yeah,
time or changes minor things in the past that completely changes everything.
yes.
Now, if we get the possibility of time travel and we do change like a minor thing in our past, do you think that would lead us to being completely different people?
I think it works how it does in the Marvel movies, or kind of like Dragon Ball Z. Like if you change it, it'll just simply create a new diverging path, while the original reality that, let's say, like you, like Marty Future, come back here and you prevent you from, I don't know, marrying marrying some
Mm-hmm.
girl. That wouldn't change the original path that you went to travel back in time, but it would just create a new timeline that specific version of you that didn't marry that girl goes through. So I think what we change just creates more and more timelines. Um, Honestly, I think that's how it works, to be honest, or how it would possibly work. We never know. Nobody, at least as far as I know, nobody has achieved time travel yet, or won't for a long time. But yeah, I think the actions of others who might go into the past would definitely create new timelines for different choices to happen. I guess pretty much, yeah. So I guess what I want to ask next, if you can like travel, because I tend to ask all my guests like what kind of worlds they would travel to, whether it's like an anime or anywhere really, or even like some people like a fame, like if you're a famous person type of universe. Like if you could travel to like a specific universe for that Moses would want to go to, like it could be anything, realistic, fiction. I guess they're not really fiction because they're real in a certain way, but like if you can travel to anywhere, any universe, anything, where would you go?
Wow, put me on the spot right there. I never really thought about it
Yeah,
like that. But I
yeah,
mean, fictional or realistical? Let's see.
yeah. It can be like anime, Marvel, DC, anything really, or a reality where you're a fucking walrus or something. I don't know, anything.
Nah, I wouldn't mind going into the Marvel universe, but I can only stay like at least 5 days because the way Marvel's set up and everything happens in like under 24 hours is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. How I remember, imagine being a citizen in a Marvel universe, like when the Eternals was
Oh my
happening, some
god.
huge fucking like gray big ass statue appears in the middle of the ocean for no reason, or like, oh my god, living in a Marvel universe would be terrible. But yeah, um, a lot of shifters, like when they choose their destination they want to go to, people, and I guess it's more leans into spirituality. People try to narrow specifically what makes that universe specific to them, and a lot of the times they might scripting is like writing down like what your life would be there, and people believe when you script specific things that narrows it down to the specific universe you want to go through, because there's going to be tons of Marvel. Let's say technically, there's going to be tons of Marvel universes where you exist. Obviously, there's going to be some where you're just like a normal person, how you are now, or you could be like some type of superhero or
Mm-hmm.
supervillain, really. So, and shifting, a lot of people tend to script to narrow down the universe or narrow down. You know how Wanda was looking in Doctor Strange 2. She was looking for a universe she where she had her kids and they were actually real instead of fake constructs like in her reality. So I guess in a way, like kind of like how she was focusing on what reality she specifically wanted to go to. People tend to script in journals or online to narrow down the details of how would the life of that version of them would exist in that universe. So just for the fun of it, like if you did go to the Marvel universe, like what would you be, like a superhero? Would you like would you be romancing anybody there? I know a lot of people like to bring up certain, like they want to use the opportunity to shift to meet characters or date certain characters. Like, are you going to be a superhero? Are you going to date somebody? And let's say hypothetically in this Marvel universe,
I think
what would
I'll
you
be
do?
an anti-hero, like along the lines of Deadpool, because I mean, in all aspects, like what happened with Civil War, there's always a wrong and wrong side. There's never just a completely right side. So it's really biased. So it's like the only way you could survive in Marvel is like try to live by your own morals, which I'll try to do, even if it goes against others. Now, I won't be like out there mass murdering people just cause.
Right, not like Frank Castle or something.
Frank is a different, but then look at his backstory. It does make sense why, but he's a different type of breed.
Dude, it's fucking crazy, but good at the same time. I fucking love
Him
Deadpool
and
all day.
Ghost Rider. I would not want to run into Ghost Rider.
Yeah, when he does that pendant stare in your freaking
Nothing
eyes.
can destroy
Oh
Ghost
my
Rider.
god.
He's literally an embodiment of just pure anger and revenge.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Yeah, I
go
know.
ahead. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Speaking on what we were talking about. Uh, uh, what's it called? I just had the word. Multiverses and all that. So there's this show. I don't know if you watched it yet, but it's on Netflix. I forgot what season it is, but it's been on for a few years. It's called Manifest. And what happens? It's almost like what happened in Marvel with the 5-year snap, but instead they were flying over the Bermuda Triangle, and they got trapped in a storm for 5 years. But when they came out of that storm, time already moved on 5 years, but the people on the plane that got stuck in the storm still the same age as when they left that day.
Dang. How much time did it pass in the
The
world
the
compared
real
to
world 5 years.
5 years?
So
Oh,
they
okay.
came back. Everybody was 5 years older. Everything moved on for 5 years. So they just came back. And what happened was they came back with these powers or whatever, these callings, which warn them of what something's gonna happen before it happens, like deja vu moments. But to me, like now that I'm getting like deeper into the series, it's like they're like, what if it's a time paradox and we're just living in a deja vu moment? Because these callings can be just deja vus of versions of us that already happened.
Ooh, I'm glad you brought that up. That actually brings me to another topic we can talk about. Freaking deja vu. It's
Deja
real.
vu is real,
I'm
100%.
sure all you viewers have experienced deja vu. If anything, if you don't believe anything we're talking about, believe in deja vu. Like, what is deja vu? I always want to know that. Like, what do you think it is? Is it like a view into like your future, maybe a future that you end up living, or alternate timeline? Like, what is deja
I
vu
don't
for you?
even know, but this past week I've had 3 deja vu moments, and it's just
Damn, dude.
back to back. I mean,
Well, what did you like see?
it's not like seeing, but
If you
it's
don't
like in
mind.
the moment, like a song was gonna play before it happened on the radio. I called it already before they even say anything, and then this really weird thing. The train tracks around my house. So I was like,
Yeah.
if I make this turn going to work, right? If I make this turn today, the train is gonna come and a red car will come from behind me and get into an accident with this black
Right.
car.
Right.
And 20 minutes later, it happened exactly how it happened in my mind.
Holy
Like I
shit,
saw it
dude.
vividly before it happened in my head, but then it happened in real
Yeah.
life, and I'm like, this made no sense. Like,
Dog, bro, you got that fucking African energy in you. See that like 3 times in a row? I get deja vu like every single like 6 months or so. Like, holy shit, dude, that's
but
crazy.
it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like sometimes it's good deja vu and sometimes it's like sad deja vu, like what happened with the accident. But like it still takes you off guard. It's not like
Yeah,
100%
man.
like,
Like,
oh, it's deja vu. It's gonna happen. Sometimes it happens without warning.
yeah, yeah. I remember when we were like sitting in the living room like a few months ago. Like, I remember, like I seen it in like a dream. Like it was you saying a specific phrasing, while like I think I can't remember what movie it was, but it was like in the fields and shit. Like, you remember that like boring like historical movie we were watching or whatever that we didn't finish about like the two brothers or whatever.
With
I can't remember like
Brad Pitt.
what it was called. I think so.
Yes, I
I
know what you're
think
talking
so.
about.
Don't quote me on it, but I remember you saying a specific phrasing. When you said it, it was like you were in the exact same frame that I remember seeing a deja vu in. And like you said, you don't like it. Kind of just hits you out of nowhere, like, oh shit, I've seen this before. This is deja vu, and it's so weird how that
Okay,
works.
so for
Unfortunately,
deja vu, do you think now that we're living now, do you okay? How can I phrase this? Do you think the future already happened and we're just yeah, okay? So
yes.
everything is set already. This already happened.
I think everything, yes, everything is a fixed timeline, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like in a way. Like I think, you know, there's a whole bunch of shit we can talk. We can do so many episodes with different fucking topics. Like some people believe that like you don't die. Like some people think you have quantum
What's quantum
immortality.
immortality?
Like let me see if I can actually pull it up and share the screen with you. But pretty much a lot of the things is like some people find themselves in situations where they're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to die, but for some reason they remember dying, but they actually like they live for some reason. It's hard to explain. Let me try to find it. Mortality theory. A second.
And how about people that can see visions?
Yeah. Let me see.
I believe in all that. I believe that there are people out there that can tap into the spiritual world. E-
Yeah, we're yeah, for sure.
Even though I was raised Catholic, but like even in the Bible, man, it talks about people tapping into the spiritual world, talking to God, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into the spiritual world too after that. Let me see. I'm trying to find something that's pretty simple. Um, okay, so let me share the screen really quick. Tab. All right, are you seeing this all right
Yes, I
on the
see it.
screen? All right, so it says that a common refrain in the quantum theory is anything that can happen does happen. Shockingly, with total disregard for our own human experience. This seems to be true. Will you consider that what this means in the context of living and dying? In particular, if a situation can end with you either alive or dead, every result literally does happen, and you will always experience a result where you live. No matter how ludicrously unlikely, there's a zero chance of surviving than you do. From your point of view, the world around you does whatever crazy contortions it must to ensure that you continue your point of view. Quantum suicide, quantum immortality get their name from the idea that it may be impossible to die from your own point of view. You know, I found that really interesting because, like, there are a lot of times where I could have died. Like, I remember so many different times I might have been choking on food and I just lived. Like, you hear a whole bunch of people dying choking on food and shit, and there are other near-death experiences that, you know, near car crashes or accidents. Like, a lot of these things seem like you're meant to go through. You're meant to
Yeah,
live through it.
because
You know. What do you think
I
about like
believe okay. So
what do
you
you
know
think
how
about that?
people we all have a mental and physical state, right? We also have a
Yeah.
spiritual state where, like, for physical, your body holds back from you hurting yourself. Like, if you want to hit yourself, it'll still hurt, but it
Yeah.
won't be like a full punch like when you're about to hit someone else.
Yeah.
So your body holds
Yeah,
you
for
back. So
sure.
in a way, your spirit holds you back from dying when it doesn't want it to die.
Yeah.
Or if it's other, don't quote
Yeah.
me on that, but to me, I believe like your spirit can protect you, depending how strong it is. Now, how to strengthen your spirit, I'm not sure. There's different ways.
Yeah. So you think it can protect you from like outside
Of
forces
course,
pretty much in a way?
100%.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Like, I already told you about it before. I'm just gonna say it with a little bit of context, so like the viewers won't know everything. You remember that one story I told you how that one person I met up with wasn't who they
Yeah.
were? So pretty much, it's so weird. I've never felt like when that happened to me, I never felt so spiritually in tuned. Like, it's like my spirit felt like I was like it said, "Don't go any further with this person." Like it was like protect, like something was screaming inside of me that it didn't feel like my mind. It felt like something like deep beyond my mind, like saying, "Do not do this" or "Don't do that. Stay away." I never felt like that before. It felt like I was like completely 100% like in tune with everything. It was so weird. I think like how you said like your body or your spirit protects you from any outside forces. So that's why we made it this far. And it's kind of weird going into it because like then like you think about it like, so what about it? What about everybody else around you? Is it like only for you? Because obviously people die. Let's say this theory is true. People that we went to high school with. You remember Jaheen?
Yeah, the one that drowned, right?
Yeah, like so he died. But if he had the same thing going on as we do, why did he die?
What do
Or
you
like how
mean
does
by
that
like the
work for other
same thing we
people?
had we had?
So let's say like we're meant to like this theory is true. We're meant to like
Mm-hmm.
live forever, pretty much, or like live enough to survive all these situations. Why didn't he continue to live? Or like is it only like is it you going to like is it only like is everybody around you like their own construct of yourself in a way? It's hard like going to when to making it make sense. But like it's like why did this person die, but why do you get to survive all these different things? Like does it all apply for everybody? Does it only apply to you? Like it's really hard. It's kind of it's complex to like when you think about this quantum immortality theory. Really,
Of
I don't
course,
know.
it's all different. It's not. No one has the answers on this 100%. Now, why
Yeah,
he sadly drowned in the river all those years back, no one can explain except for what happened. People involved were young and scared,
yeah,
and the current was too strong, sadly. So it was just
yeah.
one of those accidents. Now, was he meant to die that young? Nobody deserves to die that young. But everything is on a fixed time schedule. And wherever he went after his
Yeah.
death, I just hope that it's a good place enough for him, whether it's heaven or wherever anybody else believes they're going after, or he gets reincarnated. That's on him. But
Yeah, we'll talk about like the
of
afterlife and
course,
shit in a little bit too. Like and viewers listening, I know this episode kind of like it kind of goes away from reality shifting a little bit, but this if you check the description, it's also a spiritual channel, so we just talk about a whole bunch of random stuff too. But we'll make sure to bring back the topic back to shifting. But at the moment, we're just talking about spiritual stuff or like how maybe this world works, you know, our world works and beyond like. Because you know, like there's a time where you didn't know where that shit thing existed, but now you're aware of it. So we're just talking about how our world has many different elements that a lot of people are unaware of, and like how do we interpret these things really? So just be patient with us. We'll get back to the shifting stuff too. But yeah, so going back to what we were talking about, do you damn that storm is like making trees slam against my window.
storm.
Holy shit. Yeah, like the wind from the storm that's
Okay.
coming. Like the wind is blowing really hard. Okay, everything.
Wait, can I go back on something you said earlier? I
Yeah,
think you
go for it.
stated that yeah, like you know how your spirit protects you from you, but you also asked about if your spirit protects people around you. Now, with that, I believe that it can, but it's mostly designed for your own. Like you can give off your energy or spirit to someone else to help them fight whatever they got to fight. But I also believe in spirit
Yeah.
bandits, like people that steal your energy and all that.
Yeah,
Yes.
energy vampires. Yeah, yeah. So, speaking of spirits and energy, we're gonna go into like the spiritual realm, energies in general. And I'm sure you viewers experienced this, or Moses, I'm sure you experienced this yourself. But you know, you enter a place, and you know that shit just does not feel right. Like you feel like some like bad vibes. Like you only stepped in there, you haven't seen anybody, anything in there. It could be empty, but you just get automatic bad vibes, like just bad energy. You felt that
Yeah, of
before, right?
course. There's certain places, or even
Yeah.
being around
So.
certain people, like your whole energy just
Mhm.
goes straight down. You could be the happiest person for
Yeah.
1 second, and then just out of nowhere, boom, it's just drained, and you're just there, just stuck.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like a lot of people talk about how, I mean, obviously we have the world that we have now that me and you see and the viewers see, and there were things we touch and listen to, but there is a world beyond ours. It's kind of like shifting, but the spiritual realm where everything happens around us. Like, you know how people mention how you get sleep paralysis sometimes, and you start
Yeah,
to see shit. What if sleep paralysis allows you to see like sleep because you're on the sleep paralysis when you're on the cusp of still being awake and still falling asleep, and maybe being in that state allows you to see things in the world around us that we cannot naturally see.
yeah, of course. I believe in. I mean, I've heard about like sleep demons and all that. People being paralyzed. One of my friends, actually, one of my
Yeah.
close friends, she says she experienced a sleep demon, a paralysis demon. And what happened was, it was, I think she said it was like 2 in the morning one night, and
Hmm.
she didn't move up, but she shifted her head, opened her eyes, and she tried to get up, but she couldn't. She felt paralyzed,
Yeah.
and she looked into like the top corner. There's like a shadow there, a figure there, and
Hmm.
I don't know if she needs to get it cleansed or if it was a bad spirit or anything. But she also told me
Yeah.
after that incident, a few months later, one came whispering in her ear. Like it was okay, you know one of those dreams that you have a dream that you're dreaming? So it was a dream within a dream.
Yes.
So yeah,
Right.
yeah, like
Lucid
that.
dreaming almost.
So she heard it whisper in her ear. And then she woke up, but she only woke up in the dream. And then she woke up
Hmm.
again and realized that it happened, which was confusing me too. Um, the first time I ever
Yeah.
got introduced into a dream within a dream, don't quote me on this, but it's that movie. Remember with Leo DiCaprio, um, Inception. Yes, yes, yes.
Inception.
That's the first time I
Yes.
think. Does that classify as lucid dreaming?
I think so.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
it
the first
should.
time I
It
got
should.
introduced to something like that, but not like the terminology. Cause when it first came out,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about like the lucid dreaming, astral projection, like that. It was just words you heard. You just thought it was like cool words and
Yeah.
just big fancy words.
Yes. You know what's interesting? A lot of people like mention how children can see like spirits or
Yeah, of
animals
course.
and pets can see like spirits and all that stuff. I see it all the time, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, I see it all the time. It's like sometimes I'll see Thor is my cat, guys, and Douse is my dog. I remember one time I was sitting downstairs completely by myself. It was like 12 o'clock or like 1 o'clock in the morning, and Thor was just standing up, and his head was like tracking something that was not there. Like you know how you can tell when
Yeah,
animals
of
are looking
course.
at you when you're walking. He was looking at something that was genuinely there that was moving. He was tracking his head. And it's like I'm just guessing he must have been like seeing something that I couldn't obviously see, or like because animals can see like the
Of course, of
spiritual
course.
realm and shit, or
Matter of
children
fact,
can.
my
You know,
baby
and
sister, when she was younger,
mhm.
she would, I don't know, she would like, it's hard to explain. It's not like she's not crazy. Nothing's wrong with her head or anything. So when she
Of
was
course,
little, she would just report back to us because our grandma's been dead like since 2001, and she would report to us
hmm
and say like all these things that my mom experienced prior my sister being born. So like she would say, "Grandma told me this, Grandma told me that," and it would all lead up, and it would be all the facts, which is crazy to me. But like her
that's
spiritual
crazy. Yeah,
presence or whatever she had going on was like top tier when she was a baby.
yeah. People mention that children, because they're still new to the world and they haven't been able to fully settle into how our reality is, or maybe how reality is explained. Because I mean, generally everybody generally in the world believes in like normal shit. They don't really believe like in spirits, maybe like evil, make I guess religious people, but like demons, like and like spiritual monsters and shit like that. Like maybe not everybody might believe in that, but like when we're young, our imaginations or our beliefs are very free flowing, and that allows us to see shit or experience stuff that we won't be able to as an adult. So I think your sister genuinely like was able to be approached by your grandmother and to be talked to because it was easier because she was receptive to more of that things
Of
because she was
course, of
younger, really.
course, of course, of course.
And speaking about that, you can ask Yasmin tomorrow too. Like, Yasmin's my sister, yours, but she mentioned how when my grandfather died, she remembers getting visited by him in a dream, and I believe another family member, it was either my mother or one of my cousins, also experienced the same thing. That was very interesting. They said it was through his dream, so I think like let's say all this is true and it really was him. That means that he used the dream realm because our dream realms allows us to experience a lot more. He used that to visit the family members that he had before he went into wherever is next. So dreams are fucking powerful, man. Like you can really experience a lot, meet a lot of different beings and
Of
anything really.
course.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something too. Have you ever accidentally
Yeah.
went into a place when you were asleep that you weren't supposed to go into, or that you felt like you weren't supposed to be there? I don't know the right terminology,
Hmm.
but like you felt like it wasn't
Like
it like a yeah
I
like a
was a zombie.
nightmare type, but not like a complete nightmare, like a little kid nightmare, but like you felt like
Can it be something
yeah.
where I'm older? So, dude, this is like the craziest shit ever. But like, there's this specific dream that would happen, and you seen my backyard before, and you know the fence that's like further out beyond the basketball goal gate
Yes.
thing and all that.
Yes.
So I remember seeing this really fucking freaky figure like standing outside the gate in the hood. Like I can't. Their features were like so like disturbing. Like overall bad vibes. Like this thing has no like empathy. Like it's fucking evil. And I seen this dude before, like in multiple dreams. And like I felt like this is like a real thing, like a real creature, a real like monster, and a spirit. And I feel like every time I seen that shit, that's like fully bad vibes. Like this thing is fucking evil and stay away. Every time I seen that thing, it's just like I felt terrible after.
Mm.
So like I think that's the closest thing that I can get to like having like an unwelcome feeling or maybe an unwelcome vibe because like those are some of the scariest dreams like I ever seen. He just stood there. That's the thing about it. He might have been standing there, but the entire energy and vibe of him was fucking
Yeah, I have a
terrible.
room in one of my houses that we own. There's this room, right? And it's like a little small guest room. And everyone that's ever like slept
Yeah.
in it, they were like, "Oh, it's nice, this feel." But like, I don't know how I can pinpoint it, but every single time I step into the room, my whole energy just goes down. Like like any given day, I can go there any day, and my energy will always be down when
Yeah.
I go into that specific part of the house. I don't know what happened there, or if there's like
Right.
someone or something.
Do you know your
Oh
own
no,
sister?
not really.
Hmm.
But like we've had
Yeah.
numerous different races, different people, genders,
Mhm.
classifications of people go through that own scene. It's perfectly fine to them. They feel nothing. It's just great. But then when I go in, it's like dampening.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a lot more spiritually in tune with things, and maybe they won't be able to pick it up. But I definitely got to go
Of
to that
course, of
room
course.
sometimes, and I wonder how I'll feel there. But yeah, it's crazy. Like I remember, I might as well just call this episode spiritual talk because we just talk about a whole bunch of shit that's really cool to talk about. So, the viewers listening, this is going to be more of a spiritual episode. That's all right. We'll get back to the shifting in another episode, I promise. But I want to talk about spiritual stuff this episode with my friend. So, if you're gonna hop off, thank you. But we're gonna keep talking. But yeah, I remember at my old house, I didn't know at the time. My parents told me that a lady died in their bedroom, like an old lady. And it's so funny. Like every time I went into that room, it always felt so welcoming and so friendly and so good, such a good vibe. And a lot of the photos that we took in the house, I can probably show you if I can find them. Um, there was always like orbs all around us, and some people think orbs are like spirits caught on camera, and it was so real. It was so really like weird thinking about it, but like maybe this ghost watched over us, or maybe the spirit is around us all the time. I don't know. It's a lot, really. I truly think that whatever woman died in the house, she had a genuinely good vibe to her,
Yeah, of course. You
or
leave your
gave a
presence
good vibe
behind
to
you
the
when you leave
house.
this
Yeah,
world. You leave your presence behind you when you leave this world.
yeah. Whatever energies you left, like your room has energy. Things you touch, your car has energy. You know, everything you're associated with will have energy and will continue to have energy until even after you're gone. So, going back to like the spiritual realm and all that stuff with like astral projection, like a lot of people, I hear stories about it. You can go on YouTube and search it up. Like they'll they'll be astral projecting out of their body, and they'll be in their room, and they'll see different beings and creatures all around them that they weren't able to see before. Um, and that's the one thing that's kind of like freaks me out about astral projecting, because I remember I tried, because to explain like shifting, there are things called methods that can get you to the reality you want to go to. And I remember I'll tell you two different stories about me trying to shift and how it felt very weird. So for me, like when I try to like shift, you tend to lay down and don't move, and you just focus on your breathing. I remember it was my first time trying, and I swear on my life, I'm not lying. But I remember sitting and laying down, and like 40 to 50, because I wanted to go to the. I'm sure you watched it. Yeah, you watched it. I
Yeah.
wanted to go to Supernatural, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the realities I wanted to go to. And you know how they drive the Impala in that show all the time, right? So tell me why, like I swear on my life, on my family member's life, this is all real. I would never lie about this. So I was laying down, and then suddenly like white flashes of light like entered my eyes. You know how you put a flashlight in your eye and your eye automatically like kind of like reacts, or like your eye squints a little bit. The lights that hit my eyes made me do that, but I'm in a completely dark room. And then I start getting the vibe of spinning around. It's like my whole body is spinning around, but I'm still in my bed. And like a minute later, instead of laying down, I'm in my I feel like, you know how you sit in a car, you sit upright. I feel like I'm in a car, and I feel like, you know how when you sit in cars, like your car kind of shakes and all that. Like I was really shaking, and I can hear like, cause Dean has a Chevy Impala,
Of
and
course.
obviously those things have loud engines. I was hearing the engine, and I felt like I was sitting up, and like I was slightly shaking around in a car, and it's so funny. I got so spooked out that I kind of got myself out of it. But I think that's like the closest I ever got to like visiting like
It,
different realities,
is
really.
that considered
And
shifting?
yeah,
Is that considered shifting?
yeah, that's pretty much considered shifting. But a lot of times you will open your eyes and you will actually beat her. I didn't open
Of
my eyes
course.
because I was kind of scared. So like, I mean, think about it. You're laying down and you feel yourself in your like you're in a fucking car. You're like, oh
Of
my god, did
course.
I
Of
get
course.
kidnapped or some shit? But
Of course. Of course.
yeah, and I'll tell you another story of me trying to shift or astral project, pretty much. So I had this one anime I wanted to go to, one of my favorites, and the way I scripted it, like I know these people, like they know me, they're aware of me. So when I was laying down, for after a while, I started getting the spinning feelings in the lights again, and then I ended up stop spinning, and then I heard somebody say, "Ibrahim, he's here. He woke up. Come on, wake up, come up. You're here." And the crazy thing about it is, like, technically it's an anime, but the anime has dub voices. But I heard them like in like Japanese. It's so weird, but I could understand them. It was so It's hard to explain. It sounds fucking crazy. Like I can tell they were speaking Japanese, but I can like understand them in the same moment. It's very weird. But like I can hear these people calling my name, and like I can feel like I also felt somebody put their hands on my chest, like you know how
Yeah.
somebody tries
Yeah.
to wake you, like your mom wakes you up for school and
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
shake you around. I felt like I was getting shook. I was getting like moved around by somebody. Like I can feel their warm hands on my chest, and that really freaked me out. And I woke up again. So like I think when I try to do the shifting stuff, like I get really close to it, but it's a little bit of fear. Like, okay, if this is real, I'm in a completely different universe with these people who are supposed to be fake in our universe, but they're real here. So I think it's
Okay, if
kind of scary at
that's
the
what's
same time.
considered shifting, then I might have an experience with it. So, but my experience with
All right, talk
shifting
about it.
is with the mirroring. So it was like what 6 in the morning. I woke up. You're still half awake, half asleep, and you wash your face. I'm just washing my
Yeah,
face, and then like I'm so tired. Like like after I wash my face, I'm just still so tired. So I just start just gazing into the mirror, just like longly gaze, like,
oh
just
shit,
like that. And I felt
yeah,
like my body like almost like move, like almost get sucked in, and that's what woke me up completely. Cause like I
yeah,
felt my body move, not like I was falling, like I didn't like not like how when you're physically about to fall you
yeah,
catch yourself, but no, like something else was
yeah,
moving, like shifting me out, or sucking.
yeah. Like your whole you're like you feel like you're inside. You feel like you're being
Yes,
sucked out of your body, pretty much. Yeah, that's a the astral projection or whatever, lucid dreaming. That's how to describe it too, and I guess that can also be attributed to shifting. But yeah, man, like I speaking about mirrors, a lot of people think that
of
like mirrors
course
are
they are.
gateways into
I feel
different
like they are.
worlds. And they're
Are.
yeah, dude. Like I ain't gonna lie, I don't like staring in mirrors. Like
But how about
it's really
cameras, like
creepy.
phone cameras?
Like a lot of it doesn't feel right.
How do you feel? What do you think about that?
I feel. Oh my god, you unlocked a memory for me. Um, but yeah, I feel like phone cameras can also be a gateway into that sort of stuff. All right, so like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we went to the. I'll pull up a picture of it. Let me see.
Cause like shifting, I know most people have seen Get Out by now, but the way that
Yeah,
they did it under hypnosis. Yeah, hypnotherapy.
yeah,
So
hypnotherapy or whatever.
my thing about hypnotherapy, it only works on the person that you're doing it on, right? Not yourself. But it can backfire and happen on yourself,
Yeah,
right? Okay, so that would be
yes,
that whole movie was trippy. It was ahead of its time when it first came out. Nobody
yeah,
was thinking about it.
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like Get Out is literally shifting because these white people were placing their
Of
consciousness
course,
into this
and
black
but
body.
it was
I mean, that's what it
just
is,
their
but it was,
conscious, right? Not their brains, not their.
yeah, or it might have been their brain actually, but still, like, you, realistically, I know we're going into
Of
unrealistic thing. Like,
course, of
you can't
course
just
not.
put your brain in somebody else's brain and it'll work. So there has to be some type of
Of course.
metaphysical, some spiritual shit with that too. But going back to the story, I'm gonna
Go
share the
ahead.
screen real quick. Um, I lost a picture because it was like like on my old phone like from years ago. But okay, so me and my family visited this hold on one sec. Visited this one
No, I've heard
place
of this place.
called Helen's Bridge. Oh, you did? Yeah. So this picture right to the far left,
Hmm.
I've been right there before. You know it's freaky. I took a picture. My finger was not in front of the camera. It wasn't blocking it at all. I took a straight picture. And when I looked at the picture, it was just this orange blur covering up the entire like screen, almost the entirety of the screen. So I think cameras are like it can really pick up stuff like that, really. Um, but yeah, it was really weird, and like this is also going to some paranormal shit. But my mom and her coworkers, and I seen the pictures, Moses. This is not fake. Like 15 years ago, my mom and her coworkers went up to the mountain all together. You know, and when they went to the bridge, they said that like the I believe her completely because I also talked to coworkers about it too when I was younger, and I saw the pictures of what happened, the aftermath of it. But they said that the radio suddenly changed to opera shit or singing or some like freaky shit, and then when they got out the car, like somebody got scratched, and when they came back to the hotel, they didn't notice at first. When they came out to the hotel, there's this huge scratch on her. I seen the picture. You can ask my mom, you can ask my sister. I'm not lying. And I seen the picture, and it was legit, like a big ass scratch. So I think like your camera, I think maybe my camera's picked up like the spirit that's supposed to be there or whatever. Because I swear, my fingers were not blocking the lens at all. There was something blocking the lens. Am I
My
kind of
thing
like
is
shedding some
with
light on that?
mountains and all that, a higher elevation in our
Yeah.
culture. We believe that the higher you get off from the low ground, or the deeper under sea level you get, the
Hmm.
more spirit pressure that you gain, or the more in contact you can come with other, like, dead beings or whatever you're trying to contact past this
Yeah.
realm. So the higher or the lower you get
Yeah.
from ground earth, is it'll boost it in a way. If anybody's ever tried it like that or thought about it like that.
Yeah, that I mean that's definitely interesting to thinking about that. I vaguely heard of that, but yeah, I mean I believe that's because a lot of people talk about grounding yourself in mountains sometimes, and like I guess that the higher you go, the more in tune with like spiritually or nature you can be really. Um, do you have any questions about shifting at all, or just questions in general? Any topics you want to talk about? Because we can go like for
I
a few
mean,
more
it
minutes or
sounds like
10
an
more minutes
amazing
at all.
concept, and I think it's always been around. It's just been getting lost in
Yeah.
translation. But with social media bringing it back up,
Hmm.
I think it's really boosted like the people acknowledging it and everything. 'Cause I'm pretty sure Native Americans were
Yeah.
doing it too, heavily.
Yeah, and you know how like I'm not sure if you watch like Joe Rogan, but he mentions how he takes DMT, and when he takes DMT, like he gets to see like beings and like crazy shit, like in some type of different
Like
reality. Like it's a
mushrooms?
like a hallucinate drug, but it seems like yeah, like kind of like that.
Of course
I
not.
never took any drugs like that or anything, but like the people he interviews, like they all like have this shared experience when they take DMT, like seeing these beings. It's like I think like certain
Of
drugs, like
course, they
especially
smoke. They
like you mentioned
smoke
Native
ganja.
Americans, like they smoke certain shit.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, and that allows them to like and that enhance their like their systems, like to experience more things. Like I think like a lot of things that we have on the
Of
earth
course.
really can help us like
But
realize
then the
what can
thing
happen to
is
us
with
really.
drugs too, it's 100% proven. People
Hmm.
have had cases where they go to a different reality, or they feel like they're in a different reality or a higher sense and all that, and they want more of it. And like it becomes a need, like nicotine. It becomes repetitive, and they overdo it and all that, like
Yeah,
mushrooms and all that. Used correctly, it's fine,
yeah,
but abused, deadly.
yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, I guess that's why like a lot of people use that stuff gets addicted and it like controls their lives really. I mean, because they want to get that spectacular feeling or experience those worlds or whatever they go to. So maybe that crackhead down the street that's really talking some
No,
weird
but I
shit
think
is
I
telling the
think
truth.
she
Maybe,
looks crackhead or
yeah,
mentally ill too. But the crazy thing about it is she could still get dressed and shower herself. And the other day I was seeing her pick up trash and just going it away and still talking to whoever she was talking to. But with people with mental
right,
illness, or not to shed any like negativity towards them or anything, but I feel like they also have a sense of like
right,
spiritual presence that's above our us normal folk that we don't understand.
sure, yeah, I can see that. Like obviously
Yeah,
there are
of
gonna be some
course.
people that like legit like can't help who they are and they're talking to nothing. But I do think that there are people who can speak to beings or like they're psychics or mediums. I believe that okay,
Of
there are a lot of
course.
psychics in the world that
Like
are
today,
just
I got a
fairies
card
that like
talking
don't
about,
know what
oh,
they're
let
talking
me
about.
read your
But
hand, all
yeah,
that for $50. I'm
uh-huh,
like, what? Read your future.
hmm,
I have a magic
yeah.
ball. I'm like, okay.
As somebody who did like a few tarot readings, at least more than a few, um, I a lot of these
Mhm.
people, some that I got to trust.
Mhm.
I not every single person was right. But a lot of them got some shit that was right, dude. Like a lot of them, like I'll bring up a situation with a certain somebody, and they will all like say the same thing about, and I wouldn't give any details about it, and they will like they will talk about this person, and they will get it completely right, like they would know them down to a T. I wish I could share it, but out of context, it wouldn't make any sense. But a lot of the shit that they do, like some of it is actually legit, and it's crazy. Like a lot of people have the abilities. Like I think every single person, including you, listener, everybody has
Of
some sort of
course.
spiritual gift, really.
Of
And
course.
yeah, I mean, from what I can hear, like Moses and your family, your spiritual gift is more like being able to like experience or feel like energies and like
Of course.
to communicate with different beings, maybe or I don't know, like yeah, like with your sisters and you with that room, deja vu. Like you, it sounds like your family is very spiritually in tune
Yeah,
with
we
everybody
are.
that goes around you. To
Sorry,
be honest,
culture.
and
But that's the thing too,
yeah,
because most people see it like you were talking about religious and all that. People don't believe in it, but most people see it as like
hmm
unnormal. Like it's not the norm. Why are you talking to
yeah,
spirits? Spirits don't exist. All that. Some people don't believe spirits exist, or that we're just the only people here,
yeah,
and that it's better to be presentable as just a human being and not out of the norm. But what I learned this past year, touching up on a little bit on furries, if anybody knows what that is, but
hmm
furries, they're just what amazed me about furries this year that I never knew. They actually identify as the animal they dress in some of them, and that was like at first, of
hmm
course, it's like a new thing, so you just feel like crazy about hearing this information. And it was just I forgot what the right term is, so I'm not gonna say it
yeah,
in case I offend anybody. But it's like if let's say they wanted most of the furries, their token animal they choose is a wolf, so they would adapt
hmm
themselves into like the clothing or the fur, the claws by over like some of these suits are like 1,000
yeah.
something dollars. It's expensive. I thought this was
Oh
just like
yeah,
some
they're
suits they got from
expensive.
like Party City, just like that. But no. And it's just like
Yeah,
there's so much out
yeah.
here in the world that's
It's a
amazing
lot of money.
that people need to experience and like I mean
Yeah,
to a certain extent accept. But because we're all sharing this planet together, dude.
yeah, I agree. I mean, exactly. I think like there are gonna be some people who don't learn or hear about or experience things they're not meant to, but like there are gonna be people like us who knows about all this spiritual shit or the listener, like about reality shit thing. It was meant for you to know about it. I think there's like amazing things that we're all like. Everybody has like something that they know about that everybody else might not know about, or a small pocket that people might know about. But like, take advantage of what you know. Go more into it. Research it. I'm one of my previous episodes. If you anybody listening, I think it was like 2 episodes ago. I interviewed that author who made that book about reality shifting, and he has so much information in that book, and it's so detailed. Like, do your research. And you're welcome to believe in whatever you want, but what you believe in, do learn more about it. Get more in tune with it. Take time to understand it. Come up with your own definitions of how you
You
understand
want
it
to know
too.
something else that's crazy
I mean, this
about my
world.
family?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how I said I
What's
feel
that?
energies and all
Hmm.
that, and all good or bad, I can see that. So I was born February
Yeah.
6th. My uncle, who I share a birthday with,
Hmm.
he's a voodoo man actually back in the village, but he's like a bad voodoo man. So it's like the duality of
Hmm.
our family. In a way, we're balanced now. That what we believe is I'm the good like spirit person, yeah,
Hmm.
and then he's the bad,
Side of it. Yeah.
and it's like it's balanced now. So in a way, I feel like you said, everything's on a fixed time. Everything is balanced in a way, no matter
Yeah.
how chaotic it looks. But it still shocks me that's how we're set up.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, everything has like yin and yang. Your actions
Of course,
have consequences, good or bad. Really. I mean, it's our world is amazing. Not even just spiritually, just like just looking at everything, how in face value, like there's so much to this world, and like, and listeners beyond shifting, like get to try to experience the world more, whether that's spirituality or like whatever you're into, like just learn about it. Try to get more experiences in the world because we live short
that's not
lives,
enough
80
time.
years, 90 years, 15 years, 30 years. Yeah, it's not enough time. So don't. I know it's a lot of shifters like a lot of people want to shift. They have like a lot of like bad stuff happening in their lives. They want to escape like what's going on. That always makes you a little sad that like that they have to do that. But anybody who's listening, just try to live your life too. Don't fully like looking like don't fully like make shifting like your complete priority if possible. Get to try to experience life if possible too. There's so much you can do, so much you can learn. I mean, it's really insane what we can do in this world. Just take care of yourself because you matter. You matter. I don't want to. I'm no therapist, so don't take anything I say serious. But just take care of yourself. If you're feeling down, call somebody, talk to somebody, or anything really. I mean, just take care of yourselves. And unless you have anything else to bring up, Moses, I'll probably cut this episode off in a minute. But and we can always
Of
do a
course,
part two. I feel
if
like
the
there's
listeners
so
will
much we
have
can
me.
talk about.
I know I'm a little inexperienced in the terminology of everything, but I'll really be open to learn. I would love to learn it because it sounds like some amazing things to learn about.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can maybe a part two will be me like actually like going through documents and showing you how things work, and like it can be a how to episode of what shifting is like pretty much like in like detailed. So yeah, I mean everybody, I want to thank you for
Anytime.
listening. I want to thank Moses for coming to the show. If y'all like them, let us know down below and we'll bring them back as in the next episode. If y'all like it, we will do a how to shifting. What is shifting? We're gonna go into a deep dive and it'll probably be our longest episode yet. So I want to thank y'all for listening. I want to thank Moses for coming, and I want y'all to take care of yourselves and happy shifting and take good care. All right. Goodbye.